Hello everybody, Dimebot here, and today we're taking a look at Seraph. Now, this game is from Dreadbit Ltd, and you might recognize that name. These are the guys that made Ironcast, which was a match 3 or match of the gems game with an interesting twist as it saw you piloting mechs. Great game. I'll link you to Lone Samurai's review of it in the description below. He loved it. They also helped with the port of Tearaway Unfolded from the Vita to the PS4. So this is not a novice developer. They are quite good, and this game I think you'll find is no exception. It's a little different than their past offerings. So let's jump into the options. Actually, before we do that, you'll notice the controller prompts. I am playing this with a controller. I find that I personally like it better with a controller. So let's go ahead. We'll get to game experience in a minute because you may be wondering what that is. Here's video. So screen size, full screen, windowed, or full screen. So yeah, you can change your display and you can change your resolutions. There's a pretty good number on display here, as well as different refresh rates, which I love. Let's pop it back down. Actually, let's just cancel. Now, you'll notice there's not a lot of other options. This is a 2D game, so I'm actually okay with that. Audio. You've got sound effects and music. Not really any voice work to speak of, so not a big deal. So keyboard controls, here you can see. This is kind of why I like the controller a bit better. You can rebind your controls, but it's still a bit fiddly to play a game like this with both hands on the keyboard. It just works better on a controller. If you don't have one, it's still perfectly playable, so don't worry about that. It just, to me, feels better on a controller. Gamepad controls. So here you go. And these are actually rebindable as well. So let's just set that to right trigger. Oh, look. So now I need to switch that back. It will hot swap them so that you use all buttons. Credits, and now game experience. Now this game is meant to be streamed, so you can. It has a lot of features here, or not a lot of features. A couple of features here that are real nice for streamers. I was streaming this in the Sanitarium FM. You can put a special area in for the webcam, so it'll not put UI or other important elements behind that area, and you can also set it up. I'll leave this on for you guys so that your viewers on Twitch can vote for various good or horrible things to happen to you. It's pretty easy to link up. You get that link, you get your OAuth code, you put it in, and you're good to go. It will put up messages on screen, and it will also pop messages into chat for you. So, very nice. So let's go ahead and hit play, and let's first play the game, and then I'll talk about the new game challenges and upgrades. So you play as Seraph, who is apparently an angel inhabiting a human's body who wakes up in a prison to this mysterious guide, and she's trying to basically get home to Origin. The story is told pretty much through this dialogue whenever you enter a new level or sometimes when you exit. Now, in most levels, you're going to be tasked with hunting down a champion of the demon Terminus, the champion demon of Terminus, or with destroying a certain number of fountains. And combat takes place on this 2D plane. You have a double jump. You have a teleport move. You'll see it recharging up at the top. It's on my left trigger. There's two little yellow bars. They recharge fairly rapidly. And above that is my health and then my lives. Now, you also have a handful of special moves, and these can be changed. We'll get to that later. So you have your little energy ball there, you have a knockback, and you have a smite. This is useful for damaging enemies in an area if you've collected an upgrade that makes it damage them, or for taking out regenerating larger demons. Now, I have upgraded my pistols, so they are a little bit more powerful. They do holy damage. Every so often you'll see those little purple numbers pop up. And you'll also see acquired scything talent. There is a crafting system in the game. It is the Daemon parts to craft item name. This game is in early access despite the polish that is on display here. This is a game that takes the idea of the old school run and gun and get some screen tear there. Forces you to really work with teleporting around and dodging enemy attacks. Now, when you die, as I just did, spawn back at the beginning of the level as long as you have the lives for it. You may be thinking, wow, you either really suck or this game is really hard. It's a combination of both. So these orbs I'm picking up are experience. As you kill enemies and pick up those orbs, and also there appears to be something wacky going on with my controller here. There we go. So, just as a note, I pulled the throttle down on my X52 and it solved that little issue. So, not a problem I expect most people to run into, but be aware that that did just happen to me. We're going to wait on this door real quick. I'm not sure if this screen tearing is going to show up in the final video or not. I've not experienced it before. I'm not sure if it's my capture software causing it. If so, I do apologize. It's not been an issue for me. Alright, so now, this is important. That green checkpoint, when I lose, I can now start from this level. So it is an inbuilt form of progression. This has some roguelite elements to it. Normally, when you lose all your lives, then it's game over and too bad. You notice you also can cling to walls and wall jump. As I was saying before, when you kill enemies or collect these orbs, the game's difficulty increases. So I'm at difficulty 3.0 right now. And the higher the difficulty, the more different types of enemies there are. And also the more different types of attacks they use. Now, I do have an alternate weapon here. You can see it down in the bottom right. I have currently switched to my railgun. I tend to conserve my ammo for these weapons for bosses or large objectives. Because as you can see, they do a lot of damage. Now that demon right there, you have to smite with X to kill. They have a symbol above their head. They're quite easy to pick out. You get used to it very quickly. And there are a wide variety of enemies, even just so far in an early access game, and I'm on level 4 or 5. And I'm dead. One of the things that I particularly enjoy about this game is the level of mobility that the game gives you. It's challenging to be sure, but it also gives you a lot of tools to traverse your environment. It's also rather unforgiving. You'll notice that I don't start with full health whenever I die. It is actually possible to gain an ability that allows you to recover health by smiting enemies that are recharging. There's a couple other little intricacies to the gameplay. Seraph will automatically target enemies with her guns, and she will automatically target up to 2. Now you can choose to focus by tilting the right analog stick on your controller in the direction that you want to fire, and then when you wish to stop focusing, you simply click it in. So if you want to do some concentrated damage, that is a boss character. If you want to do some concentrated damage, it's entirely possible. So now that we've died horribly, let's jump back in and check out the upgrades. So you have Oaths. Now I have one called Split Fire. Now this damage, my damage from dual-wielded weapons is increased when attacking 2 separate enemies at once. I also have the chance for each shot to be fired to be a critical strike, dealing 50% damage. And I have Pistol Specialist. Damage from pistol class weapons is increased. Under defensive, I have upped my starting health by 30, and health gained from health orbs increases by 2%. And for my holy, I've currently been able to equip Academia. Enemies have a chance of dropping an additional mote, which is those yellow orbs on death. Now, each one of these unlocks a different tier skill as you fit these shards to them. You get these shards in-game. So I do not have any shards right now. You can craft different shards by combining lower shards. So as you can see, they get quite expensive. But this is well worth it because you can customize your character. And in addition, you also have weapons, wards, and miracles. So let's start with weapons. This is pretty straightforward. I'm currently saving up for my pistols Mark II. I need some more metal, and I'll be able to make them. And these allow you to take different guns into like the railgun. I didn't have access to the railgun at first, but I crafted it, and now it shows up in lockers in game. This is true for the majority of these weapons, except as far as I can tell for the pistols, because these are what you carry all the time. And it has that handy little screen over there to keep track of your components on hand, and these are the things that I have crafted. You can see a little bit of lore on each different type of item and some truly awesome art. The art for this game is really nice. It's kind of hard to see it sometime in motion, but they've put a lot of care and love into the enemies. They're extremely grotesque and creepy looking, and I really do like the effort they put in. Now, these are equipable items. You can get these out of chests as well. So you can see right here your current best. This amethyst ring will, or amethyst coins rather, that I have right now will up my physical damage reduction and unholy damage reduction by 13%. The amethyst ring that I want to craft will up that to 16% and 60 durability because these items can break. And then for miracles, so this is upgrades of the spells that I have in game. So here you can see repel. I can launch all enemies and projectiles within 10 meters away with a sudden explosive blast of holy force. Or orb, I can do the upgrade the damage. I cannot talk tonight. Upgrade the damage from 65 on the way out to 130 on the return, and right now it sits at 50 and 100. So not insignificant upgrades. This is a really neat system because it allows you to customize your character, upgrade the weapons and skills that you want, and play the way that you want. But it also adds elements of replayability because it gives you a reason to go back and try runs on higher difficulties to try to take out enemies to get certain items. It compels you to play around with different builds. It's really a neat way to have set up the game. And props to them. Now, you also have daily challenges, so compete with other Seraph players. Let's see, locate and open all item lockers as quickly as possible. And you also have survival, so this is basically just a survival mode. Let's give it a shot. There's a lot of little things that can happen to you in this game. You have lockdowns where a certain section of the level will be locked off, and you have to survive until a timer runs out, and you'll usually be swarmed with enemies. Now, as we head through this, one thing that we haven't touched on is the streaming aspect of this game. So when you beat the boss of each level, as you make your way to the exit, the game will pop up a window telling your viewers to vote now to reward the streamer with something good or to basically do something evil to them. And they can vote #good or #evil in the chat, and once you reach the exit and the timer runs out for voting, well, you get to see what your dear chat has done to you. My chat were complete dicks to me, so just bear that in mind if you decide to stream this game. One thing, I like the interaction. I like the fact that it's so seamlessly built into the game, and I enjoy games that do that foster some more interaction between me and my chat. Now, the one issue I have with it is that the UI elements that display it can obscure the screen. Basically, there's a huge, and I'll try to screenshot it for you guys because it's not going to pop up while I'm offline. I also like these new little these notifications you get for new weapons. But I have found that the arrow that directs you to where you're going can be pretty much completely obscured by the window telling your chat to vote, and it's kind of dangerous and aggravating in a game like this where you can die so quickly. Get out of here. So maybe something that needs to be addressed. I'm all for the integration, but the in-game window could be a little less obtrusive. I've not tried it with the webcam since I rarely stream with the webcam on, but I have looked at screenshots, and it's definitely not going to interfere with your UI, as they said. So that's a very nice touch. And it's nice to see a company building a game for the streaming community with some features that really, kind of make the streamer's life easier and encourage interaction with chat. So props to Dreadbit for that. Now, you level up at the end of each, while you gain experience in each level, and it gives you a tally at the end of each level when you hop into the elevator. And once you hit hit a level up, you are able to level up or choose a blessing, and these are pretty much random. I mentioned earlier that I was able to, in one playthrough, to steal health back from enemies that I smited. And that was a blessing that I picked up. Firstly, the things that you might get from your chat will be things like, it could be more weapon lockers or one with an epic piece of loot, or it could be an up in your difficulty level, or longer cooldown times on your miracles, or an extra boss that you have to fight. So they're not inconsequential at all. Definitely goes towards making each run unique and different. So let's talk about the art. So as you can tell, this is a nice looking game. It runs very smoothly, and that's one reason I was not bothered by the lack of options. It's a 2D game. There's really not that much you can do in 2D games as far as options that I find completely necessary. However, there are a couple things I'd like to note. Sometimes, with the way that certain background assets appear, it can be hard to tell when you can pass through an area. Sometimes the walls are not terribly separated. There's also these log entries. I'm not going to read through it so you don't get any spoilers, but they flesh out the game a little bit. But sometimes it can be a little hard to tell where you can go and where you can't because of the way certain background elements appear. Also, and I realize this is early access, but one of the things that I've also noticed is so far all of the levels indoors with a very sterile, very dystopian feel to them. Is this prison. Now, I'm assuming, because there's been references to seeing the sky and things like that, that eventually I'll get outside. But for right now, lack of level variety. It's kind of gone from prison cells to prison administration offices, and I'd like a change. Levels are well constructed. They certainly give you lots of places to jump and dodge, and use your abilities, although it makes you wonder what psychopath actually designed this prison. But and we're in a sector lockdown right now. But the levels are well constructed for the gameplay. Another thing I might like to see is the presence of some more characters. Right now, the only characters you're going to come across are the guide, a couple of NPCs you talk to over your radio, and the demons themselves. There are other humans in the level. Unfortunately, they're all dead. I would love to pick up another weapon right now. That would be amazing. God, I love that teleporting. Yeah, this game feels really satisfying to play. The controls are very tight. They're very, very responsive. Here's an example of what I was talking about. To me, it's a little hard to immediately tell when it's in combat that you can go through there. Seraph's animations as well are slick. See her do backflips and different gun katas as she flips about the place. It's really, really satisfying to watch, and it doesn't repeat the same moves too often. It does look a little bit like she's doing a falcon kick when she leads, dashes forward, but I'm okay with that. I like being able to use the Y to blast enemies into corners where I can kind of control their movement a little bit. It's all in all very responsive, very visceral, very fun combat for this game. The flash of the effects, everything looks very good. It's a Unity game, and you can definitely tell that they've taken advantage of it. And now we can get out of the level. In addition, the game does reward exploration. It keeps track of how many collectibles you've gotten in each level. There's all kinds of things hidden, from those checkpoints that allow you to start the game at the level instead of all the way back at the beginning that I showed you earlier, to these lockers. I have noticed some derpiness with the AI occasionally as well. Sometimes it'll just kind of stand in the corner while you shoot it. It's a little weird. So we've got the Jasper coin. Let's head on up and probably die soon. So yeah, this game is available in early access on Steam, and it's pretty fun. Let's level up and take a look at our blessings. So our health is increased by 25. We have, this is the Touch of Mortality. The Smite ability will now deal 100 holy damage to demons. 10% chance that bullets explode for 10 holy damage on contact with a demon. Critical strikes will heal for 50% of the damage caused, and increases XP. We're going to go with this one, and you see there's multiple levels of them, so you can choose to continue leveling one up as you play through any given playthrough, further allowing you to tailor your game. And that's really what Seraph seems to be about, is customization and choice on how you want to play. Oh look, a dead human. When you start each level, your health is reduced, so it is at least that fair. It's not going to completely screw you, although I wouldn't be surprised in the least if there's a hardcore mode that I haven't found yet that doesn't replenish your health. It would just make sense with the rest of this game. One thing I can do in game, in my main game, is I have an ability that allows me to turn guns into scrap, which is where I'm going to get the metal scrap to build that item that I really want. So there's certainly an amount of inventory management, because what I'll often do is find a better gun, swap it out, and then go back to the locker and scrap the one that I just dropped. And here's one of the fountains that we have to destroy. Another minor gripe that I might level at the game right now, bearing in mind it is early access, is that there's only two types of level objectives. Kill the boss, kill the fountains, or on some maps, all of the above. You can see as we started to rank up our difficulty level, the game is getting considerably more brutal. But the fights are manageable without being too hectic, because you can teleport about the place. And thanks to Seraph's ability to target multiple targets, I was able to also take out the fountain during that insane fight. There's abilities that make your teleport do damage to enemies on contact as you dash through them. All kinds of goodies that you can do your character in this game. Here I can focus on the terminus. And if other enemies show up, I can simply click away and boom. I would say that the default pistols feel a little weak, except they don't, and you do have the ability to upgrade them. And we're out. So yeah, guys, that's been a look at Seraph from Dreadbit. Very fun game. Still in early access, but I can't wait to get my hands on more of it. And I'm going to go see if I got enough to craft those pistols yet. No, I still need... right, so we're gonna hold off, and I want those pistols badly. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. My name has been Dimebot. I'll catch you next time. Like what you saw? Click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Or click on one of these other videos.